Gifts are essential to you living out the purpose and calling that God has in your life. This is what we know. Game changers are equipped with God-given gifts. God-given gifts are literally from God that work through us so that we can serve others. I think about when I was younger, one of the nicknames people had for me was Worker Boy. I liked to work, and I was around guys who did construction and renovated homes, and these guys always wore a tool belt. And in their tool belt, there was a hammer and a tape measure, and there were all these different tools, and I would study the tools they had, and I would watch them, and those that were really good at their craft had the right tools and understand how to use those tools. You have a tool belt. God has equipped you with tools that allow you to contribute and give to the world around you. I love this quote by Don Clifton, the founder of strengths-based psychology. This is so good. This is what he says. You cannot be anything you want to be. Whoa! I hate to burst your bubble. Maybe somebody growing up told you could be anything you want to be. He says, you cannot be anything you want to be, but you can be a lot more of who you already are. I love that. See, again, God's already placed inside of you the game-changing calling and gifts that are going to equip you to live out the calling that He has on your life. This is an acronym I wrote down for gifts that help bring clarity to what we mean when we say gifts. Number one is gifts are God-given. They're not a result of our own work, but God actually equips us with gifts that He wants to give us. Number two, gifts are individual. Gifts are unique to you. And so sometimes in our culture, we look around at gifts that other people have, but we got to recognize, man, we are uniquely made by God for a unique purpose. F, gifts are always for others. The tools we have are for the purpose of the impact we're called to have. T is for transformational. The truth is, when we use our gifts, and this is how we really know it's a gift from God for others, when we use our gifts to serve others, not only do they experience the benefit of it, but we experience the benefit of it. There's a transformational experience that happens. It's not transactional. Can I tell you this? By giving and serving and hopefully helping bring you clarity to your calling, I feel the joy. I feel the excitement. And anytime we're using our gifts, we get to experience that transformation. The S in gifts is their strengths base. Again, you can look at your strengths, you can look at the way God has wired you, and it's not, as Don Clifton says, focusing on your weaknesses. Let's focus on our strengths and get better at those, because that's how we'll really be able to live out our purpose. 1 Corinthians 12:4 through 7 and 11, I'm not going to read it all, but he says, there are different kinds of gifts, but the same Spirit distributes them. For those of us who are followers of Jesus, we recognize that when we say yes to God, we're filled and empowered with God's Spirit. One God, one Spirit. But that Spirit distributes a variety of different gifts. And here in this scripture, it talks about the different types of gifts. To some encouragement, to some leadership, to some this ability to give generously. And so the goal is that we would discover and uncover the gifts that already exist within each one of us. I know you're probably wondering, who is that a picture of? That's a picture of me. And I try to tell people all the time, I had hair back in the day. And this was me in college. I played basketball at Creighton University. What position do you think I played? I was a point guard. I was what they call a true point guard, a pass-first point guard. In other words, the thing that I was really good at and what Coach trusted me with was to set our team up for success, make sure all the guys were in the right position, and then set players up, put them in position to be successful, to get them the ball where their gifts and strengths align. If it was a shooter, man, I wanted to make sure I passed it, put it in the shooting pocket so he was ready to knock down that shot. If it was a big man, I wanted to make sure he was in position. I could get him the ball where he could be in position to hit that game-winning shot or you know what I'm saying, get that dunk. And so my gifts as a point guard help me set people up and put our team in the best position to win. It's amazing how those same gifts I used on the court, they've translated into my life today. Today, I get passionate about, and the thing that I love doing is pointing people to their purpose like a point guard and helping set people up to be successful and to win in wherever God is calling them to. I feel like I'm a point guard in life. The same is true in your story. You can look back on things you've done, where you've been, and you can recognize that those same skills, those same gifts that God gave you can translate and be used for whatever it is that God is calling you to be a part of today. Question is, how do we discover our gifts? Well, there's a variety of ways to discover our gifts, but a couple of different ways are, number one, through assessments. We talked about strength finders, Enneagram. There's spiritual gifts assessments in our workbook. We have some simple spiritual gifts assessments. There's also spiritual gift assessments that are a little more elaborate. There's a variety of assessments that you can go through that can help you get clarity on some of your strengths. Another area is through conversation. This is why when we talked about kind of the unified purpose, being connected to each other, people in our lives, especially those closest to us, can really help speak into who God has called us to be. Great way to kind of gain clarity is to just ask them questions. Man, what do you see in me? What do you see that I'm good at? What do you see that comes natural that I love spending time doing? Assessments, conversations, and then ultimately questions. We gain clarity by asking questions consistently. And so in a moment, we're going to ask some questions, and you'll have a little bit of time to think and reflect, but ultimately, I want to encourage you to ask those questions over and over. Take time. Carve out 15, 20 minutes. Carve out an hour a week to really reflect on who it is God has created you to be. What gifts has God placed inside of me? Here are three simple questions I want to ask you right now, and I want you to just take some time to think about. What do you love doing and would do for free? Now, I know we all only have so much time, and I'm not telling you to go out and work for free, but if money was no issue, and you could just choose where you wanted to spend your time, your energy, your resources, what is it that you love doing? Take a minute and think about that. Do you love being with people? Do you love creating things? Do you love organizing? Do you love communicating? What is it that if you could do for free, you'd love to do it? What do others, this goes back to the conversation, what do others say you're good at and comes naturally to you? Again, a lot of times others are the best people to speak into our lives because what they see isn't always what we see. They can give us clarity on who it is we are. Number three, if you were a part of a team, what role would you play? Again, just like basketball, there are different positions and different roles, and everybody's wired and created so differently. We're all called to be on a team, and we all have a role to play. If you were on a team, what role would you play? Maybe even another question is, what team would you be on? What would you be doing? And then number two, what role would you play? Again, these are just three simple questions that can help catalyze thoughts and ideas and conversation to help you get clarity. Questions ultimately will bring you clarity. And so I just want to encourage you, take time, keep asking questions, keep getting clarity on the gifts God has put inside of you. As you're asking those questions, we want to activate the gifts. See, the truth is action creates traction. We've got to do something with what we know. And so as you're asking and answering those questions, the first thing I want you to constantly do is reflect. I can't stress enough. Ask questions and reflect on your answers. Ask questions, reflect on your answers. Number two, connect with others. As you're getting clarity, as you're communicating it, get with friends, grab coffee, have dinner, have intentional conversation. Ask them to speak into your life. Ask them questions based on what you see about yourself. Number 3, constantly inspect. As you get that clarity, inspect, do inventory, take time, carve out time so that you can say, okay, this is what I think I'm good at. I'm trying it out. Ooh, but that didn't feel very good. I didn't really like doing that. Not always what we like is actually where our gifts lie. Sometimes we got to work through our uncomfort, discomfort. But the truth is, we got to constantly review, reflect, and inspect. And then number 4 is act. We got to move. We got to act. We got to use what God has given us. Again, action creates traction. If we don't use it, we'll lose it. Gifts are like anything else in life. We've got to grow them. We've got to develop them. And ultimately, we've got to use them. Ultimately, God has given you gifts. And those gifts are essential to living out your purpose. So let's take time. Let's reflect. Let's connect. Let's inspect. But ultimately, let's act to develop those gifts.